Hi, I'm soft speaker Lynn, otherwise known as your children's fairy godmother. But I'm bringing you the final chapter in Aschenputtel by Carolyn Emerick. I've already given you the story that's like Cinderella, but chapter 5 goes into more detail about how people in Northern Europe coped with um, the passing of a loved one. This chapter goes into more detail. I'm calling it chapter 5. And there's pictures here too. We'll get to that. Okay. As mentioned previously, it had been believed that by the Teutons, that male ancestor spirits remained as guardians of the homestead. Female ancestor spirits, however, were believed to linger on to guard their descendants. Guardian spirits are categorized as tutelary spirits. Male relatives, perhaps due to the male role of provider for and protector of the home, became guardians of place, whereas female relatives, due to the female role as nurturer, became guardians of the people. Though both male and female figures are recorded as tutelary deities of more public places, such as towns, natural formations like rivers and mountains, and even of entire regions and tribes. This belief seems to have been universal among the Teutons far and wide, as well as among the mainland Gaulish Celts. In fact, there was even a dedicated cult of worship for the Church of Mothers, if you will. Votive inscriptions have been found throughout Germany devoted to the mothers. In regions bordering or under Roman Empire, inscriptions are found in Latin to the Matres and Matrones. These are dedications to tribal mothers, river mothers, etc. It seems to be a recognition, respect for, and veneration of life-giving forces of femininity. Here's our one picture for today, Fairies at the Spring by Maximilian Perner. We know that this celebration of motherhood and the ancestral female line was participated in by the Anglo-Saxons as well as the Norse. The veritable Bede, I believe it is, Old English church historian attests to the heathen holiday of Modernite, which is Old English for Mother's Night. I believe it's pronounced Modernite. It appears to have been a sacrificial family celebration held on what is now Christmas Eve. That surprised me. I didn't know that before, and I almost missed that detail. I keep in mind that sacrifices to the Northern Europeans meant giving up some of their favorite food, placing it on a little platter for the wits and house elves during the night. So I'm not sure how far this goes. I don't want to just assume that there were no human sacrifices, but I do know that it was very rare. It's not like they said in history. But that's something you can look into. In addition, Norse tradition held on an important place for the Disir, who were female ancestral spirits. Again, to understand this worldview, we must circle back to the discussion on the fluidity of belief. At some points in time and location, the Disir seem to have been considered distinctly unique ancestral spirits, while other times they are blended with Valkyries and even the Norns. However, the most important point is that they were thought to be protective guardian spirits who watched over their descendants. It helps to understand that the concept of deity in an animistic worldview is different than under Abrahamic polytheism. Under polytheism, there are many gods of varying strength and importance. The line between spirit and God tends to depend solely on how many people venerate the figure and the importance they give to their belief system. It is also important to remember that while the great gods of the tribe were venerated collectively, it was the ancestors of the family who were primarily venerated within the home. Like the Anglo-Saxons, the Scandinavian Norse also held a sacrificial rite dedicated to their female ancestors during the winter season called Disblot. And I do know that there's one sacrifice that they did do, and that was they would take a white horse to sacrifice. So, but they don't do that anymore. Again, the evidence suggests variation in practice, with the holiday celebrated in autumn in some places and in winter in others. In some regions, there was a public sacrifice, and in others, it was a private and personal affair conducted at home. While most of the details of the ancient history of these practices has been lost, the folk tradition gives us great insight into how the essence of these spirits carried on well into the modern era. Here in Grimm's Aschenputtel, we certainly see the idea that spirits are associated with trees and animals, that souls live on after death, and that our beloved deceased can become our guardian spirit. It also seems to be quite telling regarding the special place of importance that female ancestors played in Teutonic consciousness. It also is worth mentioning that ashes are a symbol for death, and the hearth was traditionally associated with women, especially the mother. So Cinderella's association with ashes represents her mourning the dead while sleeping in the hearthside, is a strong symbol for her closeness to her mother. Here's a picture of Cinderella's fairy godmother appearing in the kitchen hearth, illustration by an unnamed artist from a collection published in 1909. Okay, that's chapter 5. And of course, as you know, I already read this story, the actual story part. It was 33 minutes long, so it's not for your small child, young child, usually, unless they just like to hear the sound of the voice and fall asleep. So that's a suggestion. Anyway, please like and subscribe and share with other people that you think might be interested. And I hope that that clears up some understanding of why we talk the way we do after someone passes. So I hope that you all are staying well, and happy Valentine's Day.